Hello, Jenny Hall here for Honeybee Stamps. Thanks for joining me today for a really fun winter release video hop. Be sure to comment and subscribe to this video and you will be entered for the giveaway. We're going to use a bunch of brand new products today. I've got the Hexagon Palm Blender Brush to share with you. We've also got a new buzzword, a lovely layers die, the pretty poinsettias, and one of my favorites, the Plaid Cover Plates. Now here you can see that these are an A7 size, which is 5 inches by 7 inches. However, I'm going to still adapt it for an A2 or 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. You can see here what the die cut looks like. I just put the paper in the middle so that it would have some sort of a frame on the outside edge, and that's it. You can still use it for an A2 card. I'm going to take this die cut and will adhere it down to the card base. This is a top folding note card that is an A2 size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I really like the look of the white plaid design on top of colored cardstock. And you can see here just how easy that is. Now I'm going to use one of the new Honeybee buzzwords. This is the home buzzword and the home stamp set. I've cut the middle layer. This is just the shadow die from gold foil paper, and then the detailed home die cut was from white paper. Now I'm going to stamp from a different stamp set. This is the Pretty Poinsettias, and I'm just using this holly and berries, and I'm stamping it with Memento Tuxedo Black dye ink on some Express It blending cardstock. I'll be doing some very simple Copic coloring today and have listed all of the colors on screen. This is a really beautiful stamp set, and it is filled with so many winter or fall themed images. I thought using just the holly and the berries would be really good for pairing with a plaid theme. The plaid is kind of the neutral part of the card, kind of forming a background. And then I've got this wonderful punch of color with the leaves, and then we have a really pretty pine cone coming up. I'm going to use the coordinating die to cut out these 3 images, which makes it really easy just to feature them in any kind of project. I'm using a small die cut machine to make my die cuts today. Now here's a look at the lovely layers Pinecone die set. There are 6 pieces that are die cut to make one full pine cone. Of course, you can skip a few of the layers if you like and save some paper, but I think it looks really beautiful with all of the detail. So I'm using a colored cardstock in order to start off the project, and that's going to not force me to use as much ink. But check out this beautiful blending brush. This is the Hexagon Palm Blender Brush from Honeybee Stamps, and it is so soft. Oh, it's amazingly soft. And because it has a large size, then it covers up a larger area very quickly. You can see as the progression of the die cuts gets bigger, then I spend less time doing the ink blending. I like that this brush fits right in my hand, and that I mentioned that it's so soft. Oh my, it is so soft. So I'm adding some brown Distress Oxide inks on top of the brown cardstock. That base of the brown cardstock is going to give me a really nice look. So once I've added all of the mid-tones, then I'm going to use one of the really darker Distress Oxides. Once I get the color built up, it can be easy or it can be really simple. Because I want the pine cone and the holly and berries to really shine on my card, then I'm spending a little bit more time on them versus the background. Usually it's the reverse, and I'm spending more time on the background than the foreground, and I want this to kind of, really take the spotlight. Adding some ink to these die cuts is a really easy way to customize them. You could make a pine cone in pastel colors and have a pastel colored Christmas card. That would be really easy to do, and it would give you a totally different look. I'm choosing to add the darker colors to the bottommost layer and then work my way up as if the light source is going to bounce off of the top of the pine cone first. And you can see as I add just a little bit more color here that the layers get smaller as you go. There is a notch cut at the very top of the die cut for each one, and that will allow you to know exactly where to line them up. There are several other lovely layers die sets that are available in the Honeybee shop. They have been coming out with a new one every season, and it is so beautiful. I think the Pinecone is by far my favorite so far. So this brush just cleans up so that I can use it for a different color. A little bit of wipe on a cloth, and it's good as new. Now building up the layers, you can see that I'm just lining them up along that straight edge at the top, and the progression of light colors on the layers is really starting to show up nicely. When it gets to the next to the last layer of Pinecone, they're not going to line up exactly the same, but you know where you're lining it up is at the top. And then take a minute to push up some of those layers and kind of curl the paper up and check it out. Isn't that a gorgeous Pinecone? So I'm going to start adhering some of the pieces down to the card base, and I chose to use all of these products together in this project today because these are some of my favorites from the new winter release. I really, really like the look of the holly and berries. It's a quick color, and you can feature it in so many different ways. And that Pinecone is just an absolute must. I'm adhering everything down to the card base with liquid glue, and I'm even adhering that really cool word. Now, by featuring the gold foil shadow die cut behind the white, it's still giving me a little bit of sparkle, but that white is tying in with the background. Now I'm taking a scrap of what's left over from that Express It blending card, and I'm stamping some of the words that are from the home die set. And now I'm going to use some foam adhesive to kind of pop those up. So there's really not any foam tape on this project because the Pinecone has so much dimension. And then we've got that buzzword die cut. There's a lot of dimension that's coming up naturally. And I'm going to use the words, the sentiment words, to really pop up and bring some attention to them. So it's so cool that it says, "I'll be home for the holidays." And just to top it off, instead of sequins, I thought I would go for some Nuvo Dream Drops. And these are the gold Luxe, and it's available as well as all of the products available in the Honeybee shop. Thank you so much for joining me for this project today. I encourage you to comment on this video and subscribe to my channel so you can be entered to the giveaway and receive more information. Thanks for watching. See you next time.